Film the wounded, he shouts. Film the ones who've been hit. They want the world to see what happened in Tajura hangar number 1 and number 2. First responders arrived. More than 500 African migrants were in the shelter when it was bombed. They had fled war and poverty in their own countries, only to find themselves in even more danger. Scores were rushed to hospital. Their injuries were horrific. They're victims of a war which has nothing to do with them, between the internationally recognized government of Libya and rebel forces led by General Khalifa Haftar, who's been attacking Tripoli since April. Migrants and refugees are held by the Libyan government in 26 official detention camps. The Tajura camp is by the coast in the capital Tripoli, but it's right next to the Daman government militia base, which is a target for General Haftar's forces. This morning, survivors were picking their way through the debris to see if any of their paltry belongings were still intact. Migrants in the camp say that government forces press-ganged them as weapons carriers. Now it seems the government's enemies have bombed them.
Like me, I don't know what to go, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go. Some people wounded and they die on the road on their way running. And some people are still under the block, so we don't know what to say. All what we know is we want UN to help people out of this place because this place is dangerous.
Most of the people in the centre had been apprehended at sea after trying to leave Libya for Europe. The EU pays the Libyan Coast Guard to intercept the boats, and then turns a blind eye to the militia groups that subsequently detain them in terrible conditions in a war zone.
This was a very preventable tragedy that happened just 2 months ago. We warned after a similar airstrike that injured 2 other refugees and migrants that this was a pressing danger and that the people inside needed to be urgently evacuated. No action was taken, and today we've seen the tragic consequences of that with some of the detainees paying the price with their lives.
General Haftar's propaganda videos show off his forces' weaponry, much of it provided by the United Arab Emirates and Egypt. The UAE, in turn, buys the bulk of its weapons from the US and the UK. Haftar's assault on Tripoli has slowed recently, although he said this week he would step up aerial bombardment of the capital. He denies attacking the camp. Last month, an aid agency organised a football tournament for the migrant detainees in Tajura. For 90 minutes, they might have felt almost normal. How many of these same young men are in body bags today? And who bears responsibility? Those who detained them, those who bombed them, or the European governments who sent them back to Libya?